Hello and welcome to Pop Along RC, and today we're back talking about the GT12. Just received box in the post. It is a little bit squashed. Hopefully what's inside hasn't been damaged. So let's have a quick look and see what we've got. Fortunately, loads of padding and packaging, so we are all good. So what have we got here? We have got, first of all, we have got a 24 tooth pinion. This is for my team associated RB10, so that is to go in the RB10 for our upcoming race. And then I have got here, I've got a set of rear tyres for the Atom that I've been racing. I'll keep chunking them. So I've got another set for the Atom, and then I've also got these ones here, which are some front wheels for the Atom. Then, if you saw the footage of me running the Atom recently, you would know that the motors that I've been running are super old, super slow. So thanks to Alex for lending me a motor. It was a lot quicker than the one I'd been using. So I thought to myself, do you know what? I want to get myself another motor. I'm not going to spend an absolute fortune. I'm going to go with this, which is the Aries Pro V2 competition brushless motor. It says 17.5 turn on the box. That should be 13.5 turn. It is actually a 13.5. It's just they use a 17.5 picture for all their boxes. So Sky RC Aries Pro version 2 competition brushless motor. Let's get this in the GT12 and see how it goes. Then, last but not least, the thing that I was worried about getting a little bit bashed about. My son has been running the FTX Banzai for approximately 2 years now, and his shell is completely mullered. So we have got here a brand new shell. We get a lot of questions on the channel about how we do our paint jobs. So we've got the red to yellow to white fade. So hopefully I'm going to go check now, see if I've got enough spray paint, and I'm going to spray this up, show you how easy it is, and then whenever someone asks, we can just ping this video out and show them how it's done. Okay, so this soldering iron has got to be, I don't know, I reckon 20, 30 years old. It is an old soldering iron, and it has seen better days. Now, I'm having issues getting it hot enough because there's so much build up on here. Get a little bit of life back in this old soldering iron. Obviously it's not plugged in, it's not turned on, because if it was I wouldn't be able to hold on to the metal. So let's see if I can clean this up. As you can see there, I've given it a little bit of a clean up, and hopefully that will do a better job of soldering. Let's see how we get on. That is heating up. So while that heats up, let's have a quick look in here. We have some stickers, Toro, some Sky RC stickers, and we have a nice little foam protection for the motor. That actually is quite nice. So what we got here, we have got a couple of little caps there to, so on these motors you've got two attachments for the sensor. So depending on where I put my sensor cable, so this is a sensor cable here which is quite small, let's put it in the white so you can see it. It can either go in there or it can go in there. I'm not going to be using that, I'm going to be using the longer one that I've got in my car because of how far away from the ESC the motor is. So here we have 13.5 turn brushless motor. So hopefully this is a quicker motor. It is it's still a relatively cheap motor when you compare it to some of the competition motors out there. So let's get this in to this car here. That is going to sit here. As you can see, the distance from the ESC to the sensor means I'm going to run this longer sensor cable, which is going to go through there. Possibly a little bit too long. This one just isn't going to make the distance. So we're going to stick with the longer sensor cable. I'll put that in a second. But what we need to sort out are these cables. Battery cables, which is that one and that one. We'll stick those over there for now, so they're out the way. Right, so on here we've got blue, yellow and orange. The blue is A, so that wire is going to have to come from there and it is going to have to go onto there. So I'm going to use the car to hold the motor in place, which means I can then get the solder and solder that in there. So therefore, I'll tell you what, that has made a massive difference to the soldering iron. Just giving it a little bit of a clean. It's getting a lot hotter. So A is blue. Because these wires have been used a few times, they are pre-tinned, so all I need to do is heat through there and that should fall into place quite nicely. So, as you can see, wires run round to the ESC quite nicely there. I'm just going to pop the fan back on so it sits over the top of the motor, which will keep that cool. And then we're good to take it racing. If you're a fan of the GT12, you will know by now that Schumacher have recently announced the soon release of the Atom 3. What's going to happen very soon is the market is going to get flooded with second-hand Atom 2s. This one here, I got even cheaper, so I actually paid £40 for this chassis. This is an Atom 1, so this is quite an old car considering the Atom 3 is just about to come out. So this car cost me £40, it's got a £15 servo in it. I then was originally running all my old electrics out of an old car, but the motor was too slow, the ESC burnt out, so I've actually had to replace the electrics in this car. So how much are you looking to get running with a GT12? As I say, I picked this chassis up for about £40. You can get hold of the Pace 95R ESC for about £70. This I ran recently and it was, yeah, much better than the Pace 45 that I was running. Haven't had any issues. So for a cost effective way, this is a 1S ESC because these GT12s run on a 1S battery. Then the motor I was originally running was the Speed Passion motor. It was a bit naff. I then went over to the Thunder Power motor, which again, it was about 8 years old. It's a bit slow and it just could not compete. And then Alex lent me one of his old motors and it was significantly quicker. So I've decided to invest in a new motor. But again, trying to do this on a budget, I didn't want to break the bank. So I bought a motor for £60. I was recommended quite a few different motors actually. Unfortunately, they were all sold out, so I couldn't get them. So this car actually has oil dampers, so I've got myself 4 different oils here. So I've got a 10,000, 15,000, 20,000 and 30,000. So I'm pretty much set up for whatever options I go for. I've got the new motor installed, I've got the new ESC installed, and the other thing that we need is tyres. So these tyres, you're looking at about £6 a pair, and they can last anywhere between 1 meet if you chunk them and 3 or 4 meets. So you will get through tyres racing in the GT12 class because they're foam tyres and they don't last forever. But there you go. It started out as a £40 cheap chassis. Then I added the £60 motor, so we're up to £100, and then £70 for the ESC, so it's £170, and you have got yourself a car that you can go racing with. And I'll tell you what, it is a competitive car in the mix with some much more expensive cars. However, if I want to make the A final, if I want to hit the top tier of racing, there's no room to be taking shortcuts. So just looking at the performance over the last few weeks, the more money you are prepared to spend on this class, the better you will do. So I do know if I was to upgrade to a more expensive ESC and motor, there would be significant amount of time that I can make up on each lap, and I would be able to sort of maybe bump myself up closer to that A final. So it's a very competitive class over at MK. Really enjoying the GT12. This is still just the beginning of the journey, because as I said earlier, Schumacher have released the Atom 3, and I'm hoping that there's going to be one of those coming to the channel very soon. So stay tuned. Hope you're enjoying our progress in the world of GT12, and we'll see you soon.